Hello and welcome to Business Reporter's Future of Payments campaign. The most recent UN IPCC report has warned that in order to keep the rise in average temperatures to below 1.5 Celsius, we will need to cut global greenhouse gas emissions by half in the next 10 years. To achieve that goal, all individuals and companies need to start cutting their emissions immediately. Today, we are talking to Monica Likama, CEO and co-founder of Enfuce. She claims that banks must become key enablers of sustainable spending choices, and her company provides a powerful tool to make that happen. Good morning, Monica.
Good morning.
How can banks play a crucial role in the fight against climate change?
Well, I think, first of all, emissions are derived by consumption. Consumption is enabled by spending money. And of course, handling money is what banks do. So banks are actually in the core of enabling change, also from the climate change perspective. And I think now is the time to wake up, take the responsibility and do something. So in short, the time for talk is past and we can really see the impacts, and now it's about action.
What can banks do to help us cut our emissions?
They can really help us and giving us insights and advice, because the world of emissions is really about context. So we can't change unless we understand what the impacts are. And if you look back 5 years ago, banks were doing a lot when it came to personal finance management solutions, where they were advising you where your money is going, how you're spending, how you're saving, etc. Taking that knowledge and those services and adding on the lifestyle aspect of consumption and emissions is really something that the banks can do to enable us as consumers and companies to change our behavior. So it's not about reducing the actual spend, it's about absolute reductions of emissions. So it's about actually consuming in a more sustainable way.
What is My Carbon Action and how does it enable banks to provide those services?
Well, My Carbon Action, it's a digital tool. So it is really about enablement. So if we look at Enfuce, we are a payment service provider. We enable banks, financial institutions and other kind of players to issue money. So issue payment methods. And when we were looking at that, we were looking, okay, what else can we do? How can we walk the talk? And then My Carbon Action, or what was to become My Carbon Action, was born. So it's a tool where it's a data methodology and it's a database and data sets of information that then for every transaction that is made, we know a lot of things. We know where you bought, we know how much it cost, and it's also country specific. So if you are living in UK or France or Finland, it's different, the emissions, and that's because of how electricity is produced, for example. So those are the baseline, that it's country-specific model, and then we also incorporated data sets that you as an individual can insert. So you can insert more data about what kind of house do you live in, what kind of car do you drive, what kind of diet are you doing. So are you vegan, lacto-ovo or meat lover? And then those in combination, then we have intelligence into the system that it will start giving you tips on how to actually consume in a more sustainable way. So it's API driven, so it's easy to onboard for banks, easy to incorporate into their current services. So it's not about you need to build a new app. It's about enabling in whatever channel your customers are coming to you, wherever you are meeting them, you can enable them to change the way that they behave. And it's not about reducing spend, but it's about enabling customers to buy more responsibly, more sustainably.
Can you give us a client case study?
Yes, for example, with one bank, we've been building and incorporating My Carbon Action into their service. So it's a Dutch big bank, and for them we implemented into their app mobile app, the CO2 emission calculation, and then the insight. We got a lot of good feedback from their end customers with comments like, we never understood that, my meat consumptions emissions were this, and just by doing small changes to my diet, I could actually lead a more healthier life and also lower the emissions.
If you look at the industry as a whole, do you think the world of finance is changing fast enough to help the world avoid catastrophic climate change? I mean, are you optimistic?
The answer is yes and no. Banking will be part of the world going forward. Banks won't. So some banks will not make it and things will change. And we can see that change is coming more and more faster. So thanks to social media and of course people being more informed, it will drive change. So I think I'm optimistic in that way that we can't continue like it is. Change will come whether we like it or not. And we can choose to either be part of the problem or, be part of the solution.
Well, it was great to learn about this exciting solution. Monika Liikamaa from Enfuce, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.